Hello and welcome to a new Ukraine war update. As always, this update takes a look at recently released videos and attempts to provide at least a little bit of context to the events. Every like and comment is greatly appreciated as both things help significantly with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you in advance. The first recently released video I want to talk about today is this edit by the famous Ukrainian Kraken group. While the battle that is depicted in this video most likely took place around the beginning of 2023, these scenes were just declassified and released a few days ago. In 2022, the group became quite famous for their longer, high-quality videos showing them combating Russian troops on several fronts all across the country. What makes this video interesting is that it was pretty quiet around the group for several months, and they did not release any videos at all. One thing that is typical for this unit is to show longer, high-quality edits of their operations from several angles using helmet cameras and drone footage. Most clips of the war are generally short, cropped social media edits that do not surpass a few seconds in length. This has to do with operational security, but also the way social media works these days. I think only the 3rd Seperate Assault Brigade has put out more helmet cam footage than this group so far. The Kraken regiment is a Ukrainian military volunteer unit formed in 2022. It is considered to be a special unit of the main Directorate of Intelligence of Ukraine. The regiment was originally formed by veterans of the Azov regiment. From the videos we could see so far that the men in the regiment appear to be well drilled and battle-hardened. They spearheaded several successful offensive operations against Russian-occupied towns in Ukraine and are generally well-equipped and coordinated. It is said that 30 to 35% of applicants passed the test to become members of the regiment after a 14-day-long test. The video we see here was recorded in the area of Bakhmut and shows about 2 squads of Ukrainian fighters backed by a tank from the 92nd Mechanized Brigade in trench warfare with Russian troops. One thing that I find interesting is that it seems they split their elements here. It seems one element was maneuvering onto the enemy in the tree line while the second element stayed behind in the trench to provide support. Also, they had indirect fire support in the form of an automatic grenade launcher and artillery. In firefights, the supporting element's primary role is to provide direct support to the main attacking or advancing force. They typically provide fire support, cover or protection for the moving element. This can include suppressing enemy positions. Its goal is to enable the moving element to advance safely and accomplish its mission. The moving element is the main attacking or advancing force responsible for accomplishing the mission's objectives. It includes infantry or units directly engaged in assaulting, capturing or seizing key positions. The moving element relies on the supporting element to provide cover and support, allowing them to advance effectively and achieve their goals. While this is a pretty much widely known approach, there are still not many videos depicting this in real situations, especially in this high quality and filmed from multiple angles. Of course, this video also only teases this a bit and has many cuts. As said, videos extensively depicting the usage of tactics are pretty rare, especially for this war. Not that no tactics are used, but both sides take care not to show them on video too much. While the wide usage of drones has influenced the way operational security can be perceived, this still has not to mean that you have to serve your enemy every move and tactic on a silver plate. I cut this video a little bit and you can find the full version on their Telegram channel. Simply search for the group there and you should find the channel. They really released a lot of interesting footage so far. This drone video that was released a few days ago but was filmed during the start of Ukraine's counter-offensive in the south claims to show a Ukrainian Leopard 2 tank engaging a pair of Russian tanks over a distance of several kilometers. The clip claims that one of the Russian tanks was hit by what looked like a high explosive shell, causing both Russian vehicles to flee the scene, resulting in the Leopard 2 winning this tank battle. The video was cut together and people pointed out that this might could be fake because of this. However, both locations have been geolocated and it seems the location of the Russian tanks was within the line of sight of the Leopard 2 tank, so what we saw here could be possible. The Leopard 2 is known for its long-range firing capability and its accuracy. While tank battles like this are rare in this war, they still happen from time to time, so I included it here. Here we can get a glimpse on attrition warfare on a micro level at its finest as a Ukrainian drone destroys a Russian machine gun with a drone drop grenade somewhere in Ukraine. While this does not look like a high-value target at all, the thing that makes this particular interesting starts if we imagine the future use of advanced artificial intelligence with these drones. Just imagine autonomous swarms hunting for every little piece of gear and equipment on their own. A pretty scary thing. If you've been enjoying this video so far, please let me know by leaving a comment. Additionally, I would highly appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up. You would really help me out a lot by doing so. My channel is currently under attack and I am about to make a separate video addressing this issue soon. So, if you've watched this far, I wanted to say thank you. You're really helping me keep this whole thing going. On the Zaporizhzhia front, heavy clashes between Ukrainian and Russian forces are currently still ongoing. According to reports, Ukrainian troops have initiated an attack in the direction of Tokmak. The helmet cam video you see here is claimed to be from such an attack. Additionally, if the reports about this video are correct, the soldier wearing the camera is a female. I don't think we've ever seen a helmet cam video from a female soldier in combat before. If true, then this woman has my utmost respect and I hope yours as well. The same goes for the other woman we see in this trench. I hope I will not see any mean comments aimed at them. This drone video shows a mechanized assault on Russian-held positions conducted by the 30th Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. We can see the usual tank and infantry fighting vehicle combo followed by a dismounted infantry attack. After the tank softened up the Russian positions with its cannon, the soldiers dismounted under the cover of their BMP-2 infantry fighting vehicle to storm into the tree line where the Russian dugouts were located. The men attacked the position with small arms fire and grenades. Also, drones were used to drop grenades onto the Russian soldiers, but I cut it out since it was not necessary for the context. Here we see an American-made RQ-20 Puma UAV in Ukrainian service recording itself being hit by a Russian-fired surface-to-air missile somewhere over the numerous vast fields of Ukraine. The drone is able to withstand the hit that only seemed to have caused some turbulences for the drone. The RQ-20 is designed to crash land after its missions, and therefore already a pretty robust unmanned aerial vehicle. Watching it surviving an anti-air missile is nonetheless a pretty impressive thing. Also impressive is this video of a Ukrainian M113 that drove over a mine and got disabled because of this. It seems the vehicle still protected the crew that could leave the armored personnel carrier and was evacuated later. As I told in my last Ukraine war update, hitting mines in Ukraine is in most cases not the end of the story, and in general FPV drone or artillery attacks follow. This clip of a Ukrainian Bayraktar drone attack on a Russian truck recently surfaced online. If the clip is really a recent one, it is interesting to see that Ukraine still has Bayraktars in their arsenal. The biggest recent news in terms of territorial gains this week was the liberation of the small village of Andriivka, about 8 kilometers southwest of Bakhmut. The small settlement was captured by the 3rd Seperate Assault Brigade from the 72nd Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade of the Russian Federation on September 14, 2023. This comes after months of heavy fighting in the area that has left the small town leveled by constant heavy shelling from artillery. According to the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade, the Russian garrison in Andriivka was surrounded, cut off from main forces, and annihilated. In the last phase of the battle, the Russian forces lost its brigade reconnaissance chief, 3 commanders, and nearly the entire infantry of the 72nd Brigade holding the town, including officers and a significant amount of equipment. This, of course, according to the Ukrainian military. It is likely that the battles in the area continue, and the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade is currently continuing to consolidate their new positions. The helmet cam video we see here is from Ukrainian soldiers inside the small town. We can see that Russia responded to the loss with shelling. Russia's defense minister dismissed the Ukrainian claim to have recaptured Andriivka, while a Ukrainian military spokesperson said Ukrainian troops were making advances in both the east and south. As we can see in the video, the destruction in Andriivka made the village unrecognizable. Ukrainian military analysts say that Andriivka would allow the military to advance from the southern flank in the Bakhmut area, gaining control of the heights. According to the 2001 Ukrainian census, the village population was 74 people. The village was occupied by Russian forces on November 30, 2022. Together with the village, Ukrainian forces recently recaptured 6.19 square kilometers in this area. Ukrainian Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Malia said Ukraine had regained about 50 square kilometers of land in the area around southern Bakhmut since the start of the counteroffensive in June. Ukraine's current bite and hold tactics are well suited for situations where the terrain or enemy defenses makes it challenging to conduct large-scale offensives. It allows them to gain a foothold in contested areas while minimizing exposure to the enemy's firepower. However, this strategy can be slow and costly in terms of casualties. It requires patience and discipline on the part of the attacking force, as well as the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. In the so-called bite and hold strategy, the attacking force aims to bite into enemy lines, capturing a small but strategically important piece of territory. Once this objective is achieved, they focus on consolidating their position and fortifying it to withstand counterattacks. Here then comes the hold aspect into play. This approach is often associated with World War I and trench warfare, but it has been employed in various forms throughout military history. Here we can see a Ukrainian drone observing a high-mobility rocket artillery attack on a Russian ammunition depot. It has been reported that this ammo dump was used to supply Russian Kf-52 Alligator attack helicopters and contained 9 M127 laser beam guided missiles. In the video, 5 trucks can be seen gathered around a small cluster of buildings by a body of water. We can discern a single soldier transferring goods from one truck to another. Suddenly the pair of trucks are engulfed in an explosion, followed by several others. Shortly after, the entire surrounding area is blazing and charred. According to the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, the strike took place at the village of Myronivsky, which sits at the very edge of where the Luhansk region borders Donetsk. According to Ukraine's special forces, reconnaissance officers spotted the site before passing its coordinates over to an artillery team. The video shows attrition warfare continues on all fronts. Now we come to a little bit of Russian footage. In this clip we can see a pair of Russian tanks engaging Ukrainian positions in a field with their cannons. The whole thing was filmed by a camera mounted to the turret of one of the tanks. Besides this, the video does not show much else until the recording tank suddenly gets hit by a Ukrainian FPV drone that however fails to detonate. The moment of the FPV drone impact is clearly visible in the clip, and the whole thing was set to slow motion by the original uploader. The Russian tanks pull back after the first FPV drone attack, but shortly after another FPV drone hits the camera of the very same tank. Here it also seems like there was no explosion. Besides it, there really was not anything significant shared by the Russian side besides their usual FPV and Lancet drone attack videos. This time, the Ukrainian side has once again dominated with the amount of footage released. I report on things we can see, so it is out of my hand. The last video for today comes from the famous 3rd Separate Assault Brigade during an intense engagement in the area south of Bakhmut. Like we've come to expect from the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade, the video is filmed by a helmet cam mounted on the helmet of one of their storm soldiers as they surround and clear a Russian-held dugout connected to a trench in a devastated tree line. It appears they had pinned down a group of Russian soldiers inside the dugout and attempted to dislodge them with grenades and small arms fire, while artillery or mortar fire was also hitting the area. Last week, I had the great opportunity to speak to a storm soldier of the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade, and if everything went as planned, the video of this interview will be coming soon. He was very open and answered a lot of my questions, as well as some of yours. It was extremely insightful for me to get a first-hand account from a soldier who actually takes part in these operations we always see in these videos. That's it for this Ukraine war update. It took some time to create this video after the last update, but as I mentioned, my channel was attacked and I had to consolidate myself. As mentioned before, I am planning to create a video about it to provide you with some background information about the inner workings of the milblogging sphere. If you've watched until now, I want to express my utmost gratitude to you. Having you stick through all of this and actually listening to me means a lot to me. Thank you. I hope this video has earned a thumbs up and has given you some topics to discuss in the comments section. If you want to see more Ukraine war updates, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell and enable all notifications for this channel. That way you will not miss any new Ukraine war updates. I've linked the last Ukraine war update here in case you missed it. I will also try to replace my Ko-fi link with the link to the donation campaign for the 2 Ukrainian soldiers. I would be glad if you could help them out. Thank you very much, and until next time.